Okay, today is Module 4, Lesson 30. In today's lesson, we're marrying two previous topics. So the good news is we're really learning nothing new today. We're going to combine what you know about angles and what you know about one-step equations and apply them to real-world situations, examples. So let's start by reviewing different types of angles. Copy these into your notes. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. And a obtuse angle is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. You need to write this down, please. A lot of times they'll show you the angle they're referring to by drawing like a bridge to show you that's the angle that they're referring to. You need to write this down. Okay? And right, straight, and one you may not have heard before, reflexive angle. You know that a right angle is exactly 90 degrees. You know that a straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. And I know one person knows what a reflexive angle is. A reflexive angle is if you take the angle and you open it, and you open it, and then you keep going even more. So they're showing you with this bridge, the reflexive angle is actually that outside angle. So the reflexive angle is between 180 and 360 degrees. All right, now that we reviewed the different types of angles, let's see how that information will help us with real-world situations. So let's practice looking at angles and different measurements. So this symbol here, that kind of looks like a smushed capital L, that symbol means angle. Okay, open the door, please. So angle ABC. So here is angle ABC, has been separated into two angles. So this line here, BD, separated them into two angles. So we have angle DBC, which measures X. We don't know the size of this angle. And we have angle ABD, which is 57 degrees. If I put these two angles together, what do I know about the measure? What do I know? If I put these together, it forms ABD, which is my red angle up here. So what do I know about these two angles when I put them together? What are they going to equal? 90 degrees. So the 57 and the X are going to equal 90 degrees. So that's how they are related. So let's write that down in our notes. So the sum of the two angles is 90 degrees. Yes. They are both acute angles, but that doesn't tell me how they're related to each other. That's a true fact about both of them, but that has nothing to do with them being related. So what equation? Remember, equation has a variable. An equation has an equal sign. An expression does not have an equal sign. A lot of you made that mistake on your last quiz. So what equation could we use? What did we say we know? The two angles have a sum of 90. Sum means to do what? Add. So what am I going to add together? If this and this together equals 90 degrees, what am I adding? What's my expression, my equation? Equals 90 degrees. Anybody have a question on where any of those numbers came from? Why we added them? Where did the 90 come from? Well, I know that ABC is a right angle. So I know that ABC equals 90 degrees. So I know that if I put these two together, it equals 90 degrees. So this plus that is going to equal 90 degrees. So that's what we wrote here. So we use our knowledge of the identity property to find what x is. So 57 plus x, what do I write now? Not minus x. Good. Minus 57 equals 90 minus 57. So x equals, well, that's what we're doing. 90 minus 57 is what? 33 what? 33 cookies? Degrees. 33 degrees. So angle DBC equals 33 degrees. Okay? Questions? Let's try another one. Michelle is designing a parking lot. Sounds like a good idea. I don't know which one of us are talking about, but one of us apparently is designing a parking lot. She, I guess it's you, she has determined that one of the angles should be 115 degrees. What is the measure of angle X and angle Y?
If it's like when there's three letters on the angle, doesn't matter what order you put the letters.
No, but this, you could say angle CBD, but the B has to be in the middle because the B is the vertex where they come together. So the B has to be in the middle, but DBC and CBD mean the same thing. So now getting back, let's look at what angles exactly they're talking about. First they're saying, how is angle X related, so here's angle X, related to the 115 degrees. So let's take a look at how these two are related. What can we say about those two? How do you know that? Because they form what? Right. They form a straight angle. So their sum equals 180 degrees. So what equation could we write? Perfect. Very good. So now solve it. 115 plus x minus 115 equals 180 minus 115. So I get my identity back on the left. And what is the answer on the right? You don't have to do it mentally. You've got a margin. Solve it in the margin.
65 degrees.
Excuse me?
65 degrees.
65 degrees. So x equals 65 degrees. We don't have a name for it. Okay. Now they're asking you, how is angle Y related? So now we're looking at angle Y. So here's angle Y. Oh, that's too dark. And angle 115. So what do we know about angle Y and 115? No, neither one of them are right angles. 115 is not a right angle. Look at the two put together, the pink. What do we know? Yeah, these two form a straight angle. Oh, found it? Phew, thank you. Alright, so those also, y and 115 also form a straight angle and must add up to 180. Therefore, x and y both equal 65 degrees. If we go back up and look at the picture, I'm just going to take a little side step here. This is 115, that's 65, and that's 65. What do you think that's going to be?
Possibly 115.
Not possibly, definitely 115. These are actually called vertical angles. Those two are vertical angles, and those two are vertical angles. We could also check it because we know all four put together make a circle, and that's 360 degrees. We have our straight line, so that was just a little side note that I thought I'd mention, but by the confused looks on your faces, forget I mentioned it, and let's move on. Okay, a beam of light is reflected off a mirror. Below is a diagram of the reflected beam. Find the missing angle measure. Okay, so what do I see here? If this is the mirror, and these three angles put together, how are those angles related?
So if you add 55,
But tell me how they're related first. Don't tell me how to solve x. Tell me how those three angles are related. Go back and look at how we answered the question the last two times.
if you add that and then you add x to it, it might equal 180.
All right, well, these angles form a straight line. These form a straight angle. So their sum equals 180 degrees. So what equation could we use? I know if I add those three angles together, it's going to equal 180 degrees. So what equation can I write? What equation can I write? Well, hold on. We've got 55 plus x, and they all equal 180. Plus 55 equals 180. So that's our equation. But before I go ahead and solve, what can I do? What should I do before I solve? Right, what do we get? So 110 plus x equals 180. So go ahead and solve that algebraically. Yes. Okay, so we subtract 110 from both sides. What is it? 70 what?
Degrees.
Degrees. Questions on that? Nothing? Alright, we're going to try one more together, and then the rest you're going to try on your own. So let's take a look at number 1. Write and solve an equation in each of the problems. So angle ABC, so ABC measures 90 degrees. That's what that little box tells us, that it's a 90-degree angle. It's split between two angles, ABD and DBC. So we've got this angle here and that angle here. The measure of the two angles is in a ratio of 2 to 1. What are the measures of each angle? How am I going to set that up? If they're 2 to 1, that means one angle is twice as big as the other angle. So how can I label those angles in the picture? What do you think I should do? Right, if this is x, that has a ratio of 2 to 1, so that's 2x. Okay, it's a ratio of 2 to 1. So if this is 1x, that's going to be 2x. Because 2 to 1 is telling me that's twice as big as that. So my expression, what are the sum of those angles going to equal? What kind of an angle is it? Right, so how am I going to write an expression? Because I know if I put those two angles together, they'll equal 90 degrees, like you just told me. So how am I going to write that? Oh, nope, back up. How am I going to write an equation that shows if I add the two of those together, it's going to equal a right angle? How am I going to write an equation? Back up one step. 2x plus x equals 90 degrees. That's the equation you're going to use. So now I can combine like terms to use less terms. 3x equals 90. So go ahead and solve this and let me see what you come up with as an answer. A lot of you kind of fell into a little trap here. So 3 times x divided by 3 equals 90 divided by 3. So x equals 30. But that does not answer the question. The question was, what are the measures of each angle? So angle ABD was 2 x's. So if 1x was 30, ABD was equals 2x equals 2 times 30 equals 60. So angle ABD equals 60 degrees. And angle DBC is 1x, and I know that x equals 30. So there are your answers. Questions on that? No? Alright, try the next one on your own. I'm going to come over and answer your question now in person. Alright, so let's take a look. All three angles form a straight line, so that's 180 degrees. I'm going to combine like terms before solving. So it's 64 plus 37. So now I can subtract 101 from both sides. And what is 180 minus 101? I like the way you said degrees. Very good. Questions on where any of those numbers came from? All right, try the next one. All right, by the directions telling us that Candace is building a rectangular piece of fence, what do we know about all the corners in a rectangle? all four corners equal 90 degrees. So all of those corners are 90 degrees. So I know that that plus that is going to equal 90 degrees. So 49 plus x is going to equal 90 degrees. I'm going to use my identity property to get the x alone. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So what's 90 minus 49? 41? 51? 41? What do we think? Getting a lot of people that are unsure. Go to your margin, do your subtraction, 41 degrees. I know, but other people, I want to make sure everybody agreed. Because then people started giving me different answers. I wanted to see if people actually did the work or they were just waiting for me and you to tell them the answer. All right, go ahead and try this one. Rashid is playing hockey. All right, he wants to get that angular shot so he could score. So he hit his puck against the wall at a 38-degree angle and traveled in a new direction. Determine the missing angle in the diagram. So I see 38 and x and 38. When I put them all together, what do they form? What do these three together form? What do they form? Straight line. So I'm going to take my three angles, add them up, and set them equal to... Excellent. What should I do first? So what is 38 plus 38? 76. Whoops. Subtract 76 from both sides. And what does x equal? 104 degrees.
Is it okay to solve it this way? 38 plus x minus 38 equals 180 minus 76.
Because then you left out a 38. Because we have two 38s.
So I said both of them.
Oh, you subtracted 38 twice?
So I added one and subtracted.
No, because then it'll... What is the matter? No, because you can't add one and subtract the other. Because then you're only subtracting 38 from the other side. Okay, and then you won't get 104. Okay, a mosaic. For those of you who don't know what a mosaic is, here's a picture. A mosaic is where you cut stones or glass or sometimes even paper or pictures, and you put them together to create a big picture. Okay? Now when you're cutting these stones or tiles to get them to fit, you're going to have to cut them at certain angles so that they all fit to make your picture. Forget even making a mosaic. If you're retiling your bathroom or your kitchen backsplash, I always hear my husband trying to cut the right angle in his tile to make it to fit in the corner of the bathroom. So, Jackson is creating a mosaic design on a rectangular table. So if it's a rectangular table, what do we know about the corners of the rectangular table? What do we know about rectangles? Yep, so all four corners are right angles. He has added two pieces to one of the corners. The first piece has an angle measuring 38 degrees that is placed in the corner. The second piece has an angle measuring 27 degrees that is also placed on the corner. Draw a diagram to model the situation, then write an equation and use it to determine the measure of the unknown angle in the third piece that could be added to the corner of the table. So they want a model. So let's draw the corner of the table. And we have three pieces. One piece is 38 degrees. One piece is 27 degrees. And we don't know what the other piece is going to be. So those are the three tiles that they're putting into the corner. So I'm going to solve algebraically. I know that if I add all three angles, what are they going to equal? Perfect. So let's combine like terms. So we have less expressions, less terms. So what's 38 plus 27? Use your margins, do the math. 65 plus x equals 90. 65 plus x minus 65 equals 90 minus 65. X equals, what's 90 minus 65? Any questions on that? Okay.